To open the first example dashboard, we need to modify our startup dashboard within our Opus application. So to do that, press Ctrl P to jump to the index.json file. We want to modify the startup, and the dashboard you can find inside this lesson's notes. You can also just navigate to it manually. We want this one over there. What we can do is right click on the file, click on copy path, which is here at the middle somewhere. There it is. Paste it in there, and we can always remove dashboard and that slash, as well as the file extension and the dot. When I want to test a change that I've made, it's always best to minimize how often you use your mouse, minimize how many clicks, just so it's faster to make changes and see the response immediately. So what I'm going to do is press Windows 1, or you can use Alt-Tab if you've been in the browser recently. Windows 1 will jump to my browser, and this file will automatically save because I've set up save on focus lost within my code editor. So Windows 1, press F5, will now see this error over there. I have my devtools open, I'll close it for now. We'll see that the file is not valid JSON. So let's jump to that file. What we can do is we can also just copy a path like this, press Ctrl P, paste, it'll jump to the file. And if your code editor is set up correctly, you'll see that there's a JSON error. If you haven't, you'll have to jump back to your previous lesson to set up your code editor properly. But we should see that there's a comma missing over there. Put the comma in. I'm not going to press, I'm not going to save, I'm not going to use the mouse at all. I'm just going to press Windows 1 or Alt Tab because my browser was the last window. Press F5. And now we'll see our hello world there at the top left. It's a bit small, so I'll zoom. Let's have a look at our dashboard again. We'll see that we have a background color setup of light gray, but the color is actually white. So there's our light gray background, but this is white. So to debug this, we can press F12 to open our developer tools. And now we want to jump to this container in the background to see why it isn't light gray. There's two ways of doing this. The first way is using the regular little arrow to select an element. We've hit this one, and because we've selected this container now, you'll see that this is our container symbol. We can go to components, and the container will already be selected. Then we can check the state from there. Another thing we can do is when we open our DevTools for the first time, we can go directly to the Components tab, use this second arrow, the smaller arrow, click there on the container somewhere, and it'll be selected again. What's very important to note is that when you're looking at Opus components within React DevTools, there's lots of things going on the sidebar that you don't care about. The one you do care about will always have a name of your component type, being container simple, so it won't be this wrapper or any of these anonymous things. It'll also always have a key, which will be your ID if you specified one, or no ID if it's, well, GUID if it's a generated ID, like in this case. So when we have a component selected, we can click on state. Then we can see all the internal state values of this component. Specifically, we want to see why the background color wasn't being set. There we see the background color is transparent, which is what we're seeing. But a bit further down, we see our light gray, which has a different key, and that's because we have two N's in the background color. So let's just go fix that. Background color with one N. Go back to our browser and press F5. And we see that the light gray color is now fixed. So what's important to note from this lesson is always try to minimize how often you're using your mouse. Rather jump around with the keyboard, you can page up, page down. You can use press the control key to quickly jump between words, and don't click on file save. Don't click on your browser. Just tab between the two, because when working on Opus applications, you'll be making a lot of changes very fast, and you'll want a quick visual feedback on what your changes have accomplished. Something else to note that might happen is when you are working on an application, in some cases you might not see an error on your screen like we did now. We'll see it in the Developer Tools console. So again, you press F12 to open your DevTools. Make sure you can see your console. Make sure there's no filters because it might be filtering out some error. And then you'll see your errors inside this little window over here.